Hey everybody, this is Dr. Nick coming to you from the Detroit area. Hope all of you are doing well, and I hope you're having a really great day. I want to talk to you right now about Asperger syndrome and employment. Now this is a topic that is near and dear to my heart because it affects so many people on the spectrum in kind of a negative way, unfortunately. When I look at the unemployment numbers for people with autism and Asperger's, it just puts a dagger through my heart. It makes me so sad. And the reason being is that I know that there is so much potential within our collective sphere. And I know that if all of that could be unleashed, that the world would be such a better place to be in. Think about our Congress, for example. If our Congress was filled with people on the spectrum, don't you know that we would have a much more honest Congress, that they would be much more transparent than they are today? We'd probably have many fewer scandals than we do, and we'd get a lot more done. I'm sure all of us would love that. The point is that there are a set of values in the workplace that don't always coincide with what we are capable of as Aspies. Are we great socializers? Probably not. Will we ever be? Probably not. Are we great multitaskers? Probably not. Will we ever be? We can always work on it, but that's never going to be a strength of ours. Okay? The workplace setting values people who can do things quickly and get them done and bang out one thing after another because it values productivity. You know, employers are usually responsible to their shareholders. So they care about one thing and one thing only, making money. And so they're not always going to be sensitive when it comes to developmental differences and differences in brain wiring and neurological challenges that people have. Now, we all know that there are laws that are supposed to protect people with disabilities, but we also know that employers can always work around those laws. And it really kills me on the inside that we're not given a chance to succeed. Because I know that if we were given a chance to succeed, so many more of us would be employed. I just know that. It's common sense. We are too intelligent to be as unemployed as we are. But at the same time, I have to say that I'm not really that surprised that we're as unemployed as we are, because the work setting, for the most part, is really, really hostile to us. Think about a job like McDonald's, for example. A job like McDonald's requires a tremendous amount of multitasking. You got to deal with customers, and you got to make sure that each customer is getting his correct order. You've got to look on that monitor to make sure that you're getting each order right. And you've got to deal with your coworkers and your boss all day long. It's a tremendous amount of shifting back and forth from one thing to another. And that's difficult for people on the spectrum. I never worked in fast food personally, but I worked as a tennis instructor for 8 or 9 years. And let me tell you, that was a difficult job. I loved it. I mean, there were certain things that I really liked about it. I could play tennis, you know, during my off hours, and I could hang out, you know, in a beautiful setting. But in some ways, it was a very difficult job. I had to deal with people all day long. And I didn't have the social graces to be able to say, "Hey, Mr. Jones, how was your trip to the Bahamas?" "Good, good. How's your daughter doing, by the way? I heard she, you know, made all A's last semester." That wasn't something that I was real good at. I didn't have those kind of social graces. So I never really got a lot of private lessons. People knew I was a good tennis player. They knew that I probably was a pretty good tennis instructor. But I just didn't have that social connectivity with other people. And they knew it. And they knew it. And I felt it too. And so it just wasn't a very good fit. I also student taught back in 2003, and I remember after the morning session, every single day I would need to go to Einstein's Bagels. I would need to get out of that school building and recharge my battery for the afternoon. And I remember teachers used to say, "Gosh, that Nick Dubin, you know, why doesn't he ever want to eat lunch with us? You know, he's pretty unfriendly." And it didn't have anything to do with me being unfriendly. I needed to recharge my battery. But the thing was, they didn't see that. They only saw my actions, and they interpreted those actions as me being unfriendly. And the point is, it's a neurotypical value. Cohesion, social cohesion, always being with people is a neurotypical value. If I was teaching at an Aspie school, where every single teacher was an Aspie, they would have said, "Oh yeah, he's just going out to Einstein's, he needs to recharge his battery," and they wouldn't have thought twice about it. So I think that a number of things have to be in place. Number one, I'm going to talk to you people on the spectrum now. I want you to think back on your life, and I want you to think back about all your special interests what special interests have persisted over the years that last even to this day? That's where you need to follow your passion. Your passion will be where you are truly, truly interested in what you're doing. And let me tell you something, we are not good fakers. You know the old saying, fake it till you make it? We're not good at that. There are some people who can work for 30 years and work for 8 hours a day and kind of make people believe that they like their work even though deep down inside they really hate it. I don't think we're like that. I think that, if we don't like a job and we don't like what we're doing and the work doesn't interest us, we can't fake it and make people believe that we actually like what we're doing. We can't. So for us, it's imperative to look deep within our hearts and make sure that whatever we choose, it's in line with what we're interested in. Because chances are, if it's not in line with our interest set, it's not going to be in line with our skill set. We're not going to be good at something that we're not interested in. It's just not going to happen. Secondly, and this is where the tennis analogy comes into play, we've got to make sure that it's a good fit personality-wise. One way you can do this is take the MBTI, the Myers-Briggs Type Indicator. It'd be good to know, are you an introvert or an extrovert? There are many Aspies who are extroverts. They like being around people. They may be pretty clumsy at it, but they like being around people. They get energy. They derive energy from interactions. Other people like myself are introverts and would need a job that requires a little bit of solitude, like a professor, where I could spend some time in my office doing research alone. That would be something that's ideal to me. The tennis job didn't work because I am an introvert, and that's a job that's ideal for an extrovert. So you really need to match personality with the job that you choose, with the career that you choose, and also make sure that it's in line with your special interest. But let me tell you something. I believe in the potential of every single person on the spectrum who's watching this video. And I know you may have struggled. I know you may have been fired a few times. But I want you to know that that doesn't mean anything. I want you to know that sometimes in our culture, certain values that NTs have will clash with our values. And therefore, we may struggle in that setting. And it's not always personal, okay? The point is, you are good at something. You are passionate about something. And that can be applied to a career field. You just need to look deep within yourself to find that. I have no doubt that if all of us could connect within ourselves, we could advocate for a better world. And we could advocate for bosses to kind of understand who we are and make sure that they accommodate us, because they would know that when they hire us, they're going to be hiring a damn good employee who does a damn good job and improves the quality of their organization. Are we ever going to be good at social parties at that organization? Hell no. It's not going to happen. Are we ever going to have good office politics instincts? Hell no. But are we going to do a good job when our heart's in the right place, when we're interested in it and it's in line with our personality? You betcha. So I believe in your potential. I believe that if you search hard enough and stay persistent enough, and people on the spectrum tend to be persistent, so that's something that I think you can do, that you will find the right career outlet for you. And ultimately, if it's your choice, make a positive difference to the rest of humanity. Thank you.